Recently, you probably have heard the word Oracy appear more than once, not least from the leader of the Labour Party, Keir Starmer, who has pledged that under his government, if they were to come into power, all schools would become speaking or Oracy schools. But party politics aside, this is something we were going to do anyway at East Farleigh, and we're delighted that we joined forces with a key player in the Oracy development world called Voice 21. And over the next 3 years, we're going to be implementing a whole series of Oracy progressive sort of systems and teaching in place, which will develop children speaking way into their future lives. So what is Oracy and why is it important? Have a watch of this video.
Our ability to articulate ideas, develop understanding, and engage with others through speaking and listening shapes our future life chances. This is called Oracy. And yet, unlike its counterparts literacy and numeracy, Oracy is rarely explicitly taught. And developing these essential skills is left to chance in our education system. This disadvantages children from low-income families who start school up to 17 months behind their more advantaged peers in spoken language development, a gap which widens as they move through school. It doesn't need to be this way. At Voice 21, we're on a mission to ensure all children, not just a fortunate few, are taught at school how to use their voice to thrive in education and beyond. To do this, we work in partnership with schools, developing and supporting teachers and leaders to embed Oracy throughout their teaching, curriculum, and wider school life. This ensures that Oracy is prioritised, planned for and taught, just like literacy and numeracy. Our sustained approach weaves Oracy into a school's DNA, so current and future students have access to a high-quality Oracy education. This means that all students in Voice 21 Oracy schools develop the Oracy skills they need for success in school and in life. Children with better spoken language skills are happier, have greater confidence and achieve more. On leaving school, they are less likely to suffer mental health difficulties, more likely to thrive in further and higher education, and have better job prospects. Together, Voice 21 Oracy schools are changing the education system as we know it. By demonstrating its value and impact, they inspire more schools to provide a high-quality Oracy education, making society a fairer, more equitable place, where everyone learns how to use their voice.
So why does Oracy matter? Well, as it said on the video there, on entry to school, disadvantaged children, but quite frankly any children whose language development is significantly lower, and obviously the pandemic has had a major impact on children's speech and their speech and language development. These gaps grow as children move throughout the school if they're not addressed, and actually obviously when the children are leaving school, particularly primary to secondary, but from then secondary, either looking for employment or going to further education, makes their life a lot more difficult, and they're more likely to suffer from mental health difficulties as well. So why should we be doing this at East Farleigh Primary School? Well, joking apart, we have 210 children that really like to express themselves already. They like to talk, they like to share their ideas, and really it's all about how can we develop the quality of the talk. Not only in the learning conversations that are happening in the class so children can express their understanding, but also develop their ideas, apply knowledge in different ways. It's about the social conversations that they're having around school with adults, but more importantly their peers, whether that's in the playground or in the dining hall, but also about their public speaking. So, being able to sort of push themselves out of the comfort zone and and I don't necessarily just mean on a stage, although the performance element is there as well, but being able to sort of convey themselves and articulate themselves in front of other people in a confident and compelling way. Key to this is the listening side of this, particularly in learning conversations. And part of the Oracy is not just about speaking, but it's really high quality listening, active listening, and the whole program, a lot of the program is devoted to that. And of course, we already have a very strong teaching of literacy, reading, including the phonics, and also writing, and our maths as well. So naturally, Oracy is an obvious progression into further how we can improve things further in school and enhance our curriculum. So these are some of the benefits. It does increase learning engagement. It develops learners who are able to articulate their learning, which I've just mentioned. It helps support well-being, improves well-being. It's better for that transition and greater employability. But I particularly like this aspect of children being able to contribute more actively in a democratic and civic life. And what I mean by that is when they leave primary school, when they're taking forward into secondary school, they really are able to start having opinions about certain things, in the whole world, in the real world, and that they can express those opinions in compelling ways. And also this aspect of social equity and just a fairer society where everyone, regardless of their background, can find success in school and in life. So the plan is, and it's quite an ambitious one, I would like our school to become a centre of excellence after 3 years. And at the moment, I think we would be the first primary school in Kent to do so. Each year with a different focus in mind. This year is all about preparation and training, not only of our staff, but the children key in terms of learning about talk expectations and rules when they're having, peer discussions, the importance of developing listening skills, and the correct talked vocabulary, which I'm going to mention in a second. Next year, we'll be looking at how we create further opportunities for Oracy within the curriculum. That's our current curriculum. And also looking at how we do new and improved assemblies where Oracy is very much a focus. So smaller assemblies with fewer children in them, but more enriched in terms of how able children are contributing ideas. And then third year, looking at different potential things, maybe whether we have children involved in sharing their learning at parent consultations. How do we look at Oracy within our when children are in the hall eating, dining rooms, and etiquette and those sorts of things. And there are lots of other ideas with the whole sort of point of our school having a culture change with Oracy at the centre of it in all that we do. Just talking about, thinking about classroom talk, I'm just going to play this little video. And this actually is one of children in School 21, which is where Voice 21 originally came from, a very innovative school in the East End of London. See what you think. And I believe they're talking about the internet.
I agree and disagree with this statement because sometimes children should be allowed to use the internet for their homework. Because if you need to know something and you're not that sure that someone knows it, then obviously they will go to the internet. I disagree because sometimes when the kid says, "Oh, Mum, I'm going to do my homework, I'm going to do the internet," sometimes they lie and just watch some of them favorite movies.
I disagree with this statement because if children use the internet every day, if children use the internet every day, they could be doing stuff like if they were downloading a game with the internet by using the internet, and they never knew they were paying for the game. The consequences could have been serious.
Well, I think that I agree, and I also disagree, the same as what Amin said. And linking on to what you said, it's true that other people can
So I'm going to stop it there. And what I want to get across there is these children who I believe are in year 4, the way they're using their bodies, their hand gestures, the vocabulary and the way they start sentences, the way they use their voice, the way that they're listening and taking in turns is not done by accident. This has all been taught, and all these sort of rules and all these sort of methods have taken place over a longer period of time. So we get this sort of continuous conversation which links and moves forward. So at this point, when I was presenting in the hall live to parents, we had a bit of a pass the mic session, but just give an example of how we would teach children to use more effective Oracy vocabulary. I'm going to give you a sentence to argue in a minute, and imagine you were doing this at home for real. You can see that these stem sentences are sort of categorized. So we might start off by saying, I think that, and then somebody might respond with a challenge stem. I disagree because, or to challenge you, Mr. Goodman, I think that, and then there might be a clarification question or a sentence or a probing or a building on somebody's ideas, and then usually at the end there'll be this summarizing. So the main points raised today were and then finally think about how you would use those sentences based on this question. And what you'll find is key to doing this is when you're doing this with lots of children, is listening. And as I say, rather than stating your point independently, is continuing the conversation. And that's a skill that takes quite a lot of time to do. So the plan it's 3 years. You can see part of our teaching priorities is from our school development plan this year, is we want children to articulate their understanding and textual relevance. But over here in 1.3 on the right, we also have got the performance element, and it's by no accident that we have kitted out the hall with new lights and sound, because we want children to perform, showcase, speak. We want them to be involved with our new arts festival and so on. And that is it, our ambitious 3-year plan to make Oracy part of our culture, part of our DNA at East Farley Primary School. If you've got any questions, please do not hesitate to ask me them. I'm delighted to talk to you. And also Mrs. Albert is also one of our Oracy champion, and she'd be delighted to speak to you too. Thank you for listening.